We thought this ministry first and foremost was to boys, helping them become courageous young men. But the secret for us was that as the dads got together, the dads bonded just as much as the young men did.
It's far more than just something we're doing for our boys. It's actually this incredible place to connect and find that community that we're often looking for as dads. And Trail Life is a place as dads to come alongside one another and say, you know what, you're not in this alone. Let's do this thing together. Let's have some fun while we do it. Let's get outdoors. But while we're at it, let's make friends. Let's have our boys make friends, but let's also be dads in it, in the journey together.
Pastors often we're trying to bring in guys and it seems like we're roping them in and it just doesn't feel like it's working. But I can tell you with Trail Life, guys like adventure just as much as young men.
When you call a man to serve God and he comes awake maybe the first time to who Jesus is in his life and he wants to do something big for God and he shows up at his church and his pastor doesn't quite know what to do with him, you can put an orange vest on and say, here, help us park cars. Well, there's more that man can do. Here's something the pastor can do with him. You can put him with a group of other men and set him in the outdoors and Trail Life leader, and he can impact the next generation, and suddenly men come alive. These ministries that we've been out reaching out to men for years, now we've got something for them to do.
You know, sometimes as pastors, we have to nudge and urge men and they kind of resist us. We have found it the opposite. All we've had to do is almost like throwing gasoline on a fire. Once the woof has happened, they just get lit.
We went through that time in the 80s where we had those accountability groups and you went out to coffee with a guy and you sat across the table. We don't do that very good. We do it side by side. We do it outdoors. We do it turn in a wrench. But I'll tell you what, these guys in the outdoors with the boys camping, the boys all bed down and the guys sit around that fire and they talk about the things that we should be talking about. Like, hey, I'm struggling with this in my marriage or this at work or this thing I can't get off my mind, or I saw the way that you treated your son. How did you get a relationship like that with your son? How can I do that? And those are the things we're saying. One of the hidden secrets about Trail Life USA is that we're also a ministry to men.
Men do not form a relationship by communicating. They form a relationship by doing, and then they communicate. Not until I know I can trust you am I really willing to listen to you. And I'm not really willing to trust you because of what you say. I want to see you out there hunting, fishing, skiing. You know, when you have a yard sale and you're skiing and then we get together afterwards and we all make fun of you for having the worst wreck. That's how men form a relationship. We can have lunch for 20 years, once a week for 20 years, we still won't be friends. But I tell you what, you spend 3 days with a guy camping and seeing how he exists under stress. That's how we learn who each other are.
It's that heart of challenging boys and coming alongside them as dads, as fathers in the Lord, as mentors, as men of God, and shaping them and teaching them how to be men who love Jesus. It's also church-based, which means it's ours. It's led and initiated and organized by members of our church family. And so it's going to carry our heart and our vision and our values and DNA.
You know, we consider ourselves an outreach of the church. Another difference between us and Boy Scouts is we just don't meet in the basement of that church. We are a ministry of that local church. We're an extension of that local church, which is why our church partners are vetted to make sure they agree with the values that we hold up.
Finally, it's for fathers and sons. It's that unique opportunity that we get as dads to pour into our boys.
There's InReach. Connecting dads and sons to God and creation, what could be better than that? It's a vital component to developing our member families, which leads us to discipleship. And not just for the boys. Male leaders grow in their walk with Christ, learning to become better husbands and fathers as they lead the troop. This builds the entire family.
Really, this is for the whole family. And I know there's probably some moms here who have boys who don't have a father figure in their lives. And we want you to know this is the perfect place for your boys, and we want them to come. They're absolutely welcome.
Those single moms, they're finding a place in Trail Life. We had a single mom, and she said, well, my husband died 10 years ago and left me with a 2-year-old son. And she said, I cried out to God that he would give my son godly men to show him how to be a godly man. She said, now 10 years later, my son is in Trail Life USA. He's surrounded by godly men who are showing him how to be a man.
And I find that when we see the heavens declare the glory of God, how can we get past that this Creator also is our Redeemer? And there's a real inlet into the heart and soul of people to consider Jesus Christ as their Lord and Savior and come to saving faith. And to open new realms to us that we had never seen, that's not in typical church culture, but that has revolutionized and brought us closer to our Redeemer through His creation. And Trail Life has been that blessing to us.